Hello people, today we are going to dive into the inventory session, so let's get into it. All right, so on the inventory side, so you click on the inventory, you see a lot of options here, actions that you can take. So you have the dashboard, right? So let me minimize this session so that we can have enough space here. Okay, so you have the dashboard, and the dashboard actually give you insight about your stock, your inventory in your warehouse, right? And so here we have the total inventory unit. The total stocks that we have is also here. And then if you have any low stock that you have, it will be displayed here. Any stock that is out of or any item that is out of stock also will be displayed here. If you have any purchase order being placed, you also have them being displayed here. Now this session shows us the valuation, inventory valuation that we have in terms of the cost of the items in the inventory. And then you can see the distribution or the breakdown here, which we have the available cost and also those that is being reserved cost here. Currently we don't have any of the item being reserved, so that's why we don't see this. So this is our AI center session that give you information about how your stock is performing and all that, and then you can suggest certain actions for you to take and all that. This session you see breakdown related to your fast moving items and also your low moving items also as well. And then you have the available breakdown, which you have the available in terms of quantity. The initial one that we had a look at was related to the value in terms of cost value, but this is related to the quantity, actual quantity, and also the quantity in terms of reserve. Here give you the inbound and outbound of your stock movement, those that are coming in, those that are going out. You also have a list of stock that are running out here, and then your purchase orders also here. So these show your recent inventory or your stock movement, those that came in and those that are going out, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the item page. So on the item page, you see the list of items that you have, right? So you can decide to add a new item or maybe edit an existing item that we have. So here we'll go through the adding a new item, and then we look at how we can edit a specific item, right? Okay, so to add a new item, you click on add item button. Here we will talk about it more later on when we get to the master item session, but here we just want to create an individual separate item, right? So what you have to do, you have to select the division that the item is going to belong to. The branch is going to belong to the branch meaning the branch of your business or your company in which that item reside. We also have the type. You can select whether it's a product, it's a service item, or it's an asset that have to be managed. You can also select those ones. So here is a product. Your source, where you are getting it from, is it local supplier or is it imported? Is it being manufactured? So let's just say imported, right? So which item is it? Let's say we want to create mango as an item. So here we will select the base unit. The base unit is actually basically the smallest unit that you sell the item in. So in most cases it's going to be in pieces. So pieces, I'm selecting pieces for the mango. Here I can choose to enter the SKU that we can use to track the item in the system. If you have the code yourself or you manually generate the code yourself, you can enter it. But then if you don't, the system is going to generate that item. It's going to generate the SKU for you. Here we can select the category. So let me say food and beverages, and then which subcategory is going to go into. Is it fruit? Let me just say food product. And then if you have a brand, you can also select a brand. We'll go through the brand session, how to create a brand and also how to create color also as well. The next level is added to maybe a warehouse. So the warehouse session, you can select the warehouse session. So one thing you need to know is any of the field that have the star, it means that that particular field is required, right? So all these field that have the star means that they are required. Now those that don't have the star means they are not actually required for you to enter them as well. Now you can decide to assign this particular item to a group or link it to a group if you want to, which we'll talk about it later when we are dealing with the group session. So let's move to the pricing and also stock session. So on this page, you can enter the cost of the mango when you buy it. So when you buy it, per each mango, how much is it? So you can enter, let's say per each mango is called 5 or 5 cents of 5 cedis. So let's just enter it there. And then how much are we selling it? Maybe 10 cedis or 10 cents. What is the reorder level that we are looking at? So we are looking at maybe 2,000 mangoes. If you reach 2,000, depending on, because of the pace in which they buy the item, you can adjust your reorder level so that the system will know and then prompt you on how do we call it? Prompt you when your order level goes down, your target. All right, so we have alternative unit management. So on the alternative unit management, basically what it does, it allows you to sell in multiple units, right? So basically, if you want to sell in maybe now we have mangoes, you can sell it in pieces, right? So that is the base unit that you selected. You can also sell it in packs, right? Or you can also sell it in bags, right? So that is it. So so for instance, let's say we sell the mango also in packs, or let me just say in bag. Let me just put it in bag. So in bag, how many bags do we have? So okay, first of all, let's do packs, right? I just want to have a 3 session alternative unit. So first of all, in pack, so what is going to be the nearest parent? So the nearest parent that we rely on is the pieces as the base unit, and then the factors. So the factor is basically how many pieces make a pack. So let's say 10 pieces make a pack, right? Now, if you don't understand any of the columns here or sections here, you can just click on the info icon. That will explain a lot as to how these sessions have to operate, right? So the next thing is going to be the base. So how many of the base? The base is basically the pieces as we selected. So it's the same way, it's going to be 10. And then how much are we selling it, right? So if 10 cedi per, so then we are selling it in 100 cents or 100 cedis, right? All right, so the next one is going to be bag. So I can say the nearest parent is going to be pack. So how many packs makes a bag, right? So we can say 50 packs makes a bag, right? So how many, so to the base, so how many base units in terms of how many pieces make a bag? So if 50 packs makes a, it makes a bag, and 10 pieces makes a pack, then means that we have 500 pieces making a bag. And how much are we selling this based off on, right? So we are going to sell it 5,000. right? And so that is how you set up alternative units for your item. And I will explain that session more into detail later. Right, so let's move on to the next session. So on the next session is the dimension and the weight. Here, it's actually a very good session for especially those who have orders, sales orders, and they have to fulfill it or deliver it, right? And you want to determine the weight of the item after to help you to deliver, and also the dimension of the item in terms of the amount of space the item can occupy and the weight, which can give you the cost of your delivering, right? So here you can enter. So if let's say you put them in packs, in box, or whatever it is, you can just set the length and the breadth, right? So we can set maybe length and breadth, and then maybe the gross could be this, and then the let's say the net unit could be 4, and then the height of it or the thickness of it is going to be maybe 2, right? And what are we 4, and what are we measuring it in? Maybe this is going to be meter, millimeter. All right, so all this could be in millimeter, or they could be in meter, depending on whatever you are looking for. So the weight of that item will be per item, because we are ranking in base units, right? So per item, what is the weight of it? So maybe 300 kilogram could be the unit, right? And then you can enter those figures here. So the next session is the task and financial detail. The financial details are being picked automatically based on your settings that you have in your business profile, right? So here also you have option to select item level tasks. So maybe if you want this specific item to have a separate task related to it, there's a separate task percentage related to it, you can set it up in the task session. When we get there, we will explain more into that. Then you can select that specific task here and associate it to that particular item. If you set it to none, that means there's no task being applied to this particular item, right? So for instance, let's just assign a task to it. So let's move to the next stage. So here is the control options that you have. So in the control options, you can set whether the item should be tracked in the inventory, so that we can track the item, the movement of the items and all that. Should the labor be overwritten? Sorry. And is it expirable? Is it discountable? Can we apply discount to it? Can we apply a markup to it? You can set all those things here. It should show on the document. So document means invoices that you create, receipts that you create, or estimate that you create, or let's say the sales orders that you create, should it show up on them? Yeah. So here basically to let users, so the price that you set, whether users should be able to edit those price during transaction, in terms of creating of the invoice, creating of the estimate, or creating of the receipt. You can set up them up here. Track barcode, meaning track barcode, track serial number, or track batch number. This is mostly good if you want to track. Mostly good if you have barcode related item that you want to track, you want to trace from start to finish, in terms of when the item came into the system and when it leave out. You can track all that using a barcode. Then you have to take, if you want to track it using a serial number, then you have to take here to track that item using a serial number, and then or track it using a barcode. So if you take all of them, then the system is going to consider all of them as important. So when you are stocking up those items, the system will request for their barcode, their serial number, and their badge number, right? So that is very important. Now this side, we will dive into it more later on. This is a bit complicated, and this is related to a more construction related or construction firms. So yeah, we will dive into more later. So from here, you can go ahead and then create the item as you fill out all the necessary information that you want. So let's go. All right, so the item is created and the base unit is in pieces. So let's go ahead and then stock it. So in terms of, let's say if you want to get any additional information, first of all, you can select it and then you can view or edit. So when you click on the edit, you get the field back and you can make any changes that you want to make and then save it if you want to after you are done with the changes. Now the same item, you can duplicate it if you want to. So you have the option to duplicate the item. So you click on it and the item get duplicated for you. So here you can decide to rename it if you want to, right? So you can rename it. Go to, right, and then you move and then you save the item. Okay. The next thing also is that you can clone it to a location. Maybe you want to clone, you can move it from one branch to the other branch, or maybe clone it to another branch if you want to, right? Yeah, so here you select the branch because it is already on that specific branch. There's no need for me to create it again. You can copy it to the master item, which we will talk more about it when we get to the master item session. Now you also have force inventory sync. This is if you realize the inventory is there's a kind of mismatch. You can use this option to correct the inventory for you as well. So when you click on the item, you can go onto the detail page, which you can also edit direct from here if you want to. You can see the various informations related to those specific items. You can see the trend. You can see if there is any images being attached, or you can upload the image if you want to. So here, if I want to upload these images, I can just click on them and then that will get uploaded for me, and I'll go ahead and save, and those images will pop up here. You can also rearrange them if you want to. Now this is very good for companies that want to display their items also on their e-commerce pages, right? So if they want to create an API key from us and then tap into our inventory and then display those items onto their e-commerce or e-commerce shops on their website, they can also go ahead and do that as well. Here we will discuss about it, and then here give us a bit statistic or a more, let's say, detail trace on the item in terms of how the movement is and all that, which we will dive more into it if we start adding item to the stock. Okay, so here also we have, so moving on to the group session, you can create various groups and then assign them to or link various items to them that you would like to use, right? So for instance, if I want to create a group, so I can select the division the group supposed to be, the branch, and then I can create a group for fruit, right? So, and I would like to display this particular so fruit juice So I would like to display these particular items on the POS session, right? So let me just create a group called fruit, and then I can set whether there should be specific tax rate attached to it or not. Give also set up control options for it also as well. If I'm done, I can add image to it if I want to. I can decide to create it. So from here, I can use this particular item or this group, attach it to specific how do we call it, item. So if I click on that item, I can go to the group session and then select the fruit, and then I can group all my fruits under that particular group, right? So if I go to the group and click on that particular group, when I click on associated item, I should see that items, right? Now let's move on to stock adjustment. So in the stock adjustment session, this is where you actually add more item to your item or add a stock to your item. So let's say you've imported an item and you want to add it into your inventory. You come to the stock adjustment, you click on adjust stock, which you have this option. So if you are bringing in a new item and then you are increasing the stock, so you click on increase stock. So this session, you have to select the warehouse, and then you also have to select what you want to do. So you are doing a manual stock in, so you click it, and then you can click the items you want to increase the stock for. Here you have the price in here. You can also change the price if, let's say, the stock that you are bringing in, the price is no longer the 5, and you can change it here. Let's say the price has gone to 6, you can change it here also as well. So how many items are you bringing in? So maybe I can say 300. Now, depending on, because I have an alternative unit, I can select the specific item that I have, right? Like select a specific unit. So if it is, I'm entering it in pack, or I'm entering it in bag, or I'm entering it in pieces, right? So if I'm entering it in pieces, this is going to be the same 300. If I'm entering it as pack, it's going to multiply it with the factors that we entered when we were creating the alternative unit, right? So I'll leave it at this, and then I'll proceed and then post the item. Now, when you post the item, as you can see, the adjusted quantity is actually 3,000 because the pack that we entered, 10 pieces make a pack, so that has been multiplied to the 300, which we are getting 3,000. And here we are getting the quantity, the cost of the item based off on the unit cost. So when you click on here, you go to the detail page, and then you can see the items related to it. So here it was entered as a pack, and then we have the pieces also being entered here. Now, when you go to the item section, you realize that now it is changed to, instead of pieces, it is changed to 6 bag, because the system is able to realize that the total item is quantified to be 6 bags, right? So it gives you in bags instead of in pieces. If it's also, so here you can also see that here it gives it in boxes, in packs, and also in pieces, right? Yeah. Also, if for instance you want to, maybe you had a stock count and you want to adjust your stock also as well, you can come in here and then adjust it. So it could be, the adjustment could be you are increasing it, or it could be you are decreasing it, right? So let's say you are decreasing it. The same item, let's go here. Let's say why maybe 5 of the mango got spot, right, damage. So we select the reason to be damaged, and then we can select the mango, and then we can select how many was damaged. So we can say maybe pieces or 2-pack or whatever we want. Then we can go ahead and then post it, right? And when we post it, that quantity will be reduced from the stock, right? So yeah, so if you go to the item section, you can see that now we have it in 5 bag, and then 49 packs, right? All right, so on the stock, the transfer items actually section help you to transfer item from one warehouse to another warehouse. So we come back to this if let's say we've created more warehouses. So let's move on to the color section. So on the color section, you can create various colors that your item have, and you want to assign them to it. So here we've created a black color, so you can choose to create different colors that you want. So let me just create some color here, and then see what I can give it to it. So let me just say so it's supposed to be 6, right? Yeah, so then you can name your color. So let's just go ahead and then name it, and let me just use maybe set brown, right? And then I can give a description if I want to, and then I'll add it. So depending on the various colors, you can set up your various colors and then assign it to your item. We also have brands here. Then you can also create a brand if you want. So depending on the brand that you work with, you can create a brand, set up the country they are from, and then your set up the country they are from, their website if we have them, their phone number and all that. Then you go ahead and then create it. The same thing applies to units. So you can also create a unit here. If you, let's say for instance, the list of units that we have here, you don't have it, you don't have the one that you want are not part of this particular units that we have. So what you can do it, you can go ahead and create another unit here. So you can name it. So let me say so let me use square 2, and then let me just give it, so let me just give it kg10. Maybe that's the units that I want, and then the, how do you call it, the symbol could also be kg10, right? So we have kg10 here, sorry. Yeah, and then the group that is supposed to go into is the weight, volume, this is quantity, length, yeah, so this will be in weight, and then we can create it here. So basically that's it. You can check the details related to it also as well. So on the shelf section, you can also create various shelves that your warehouse have or your store have, and then you can select the warehouse it belongs to and order the capacity of it, and then you go ahead and then create it also as well. So in terms of the tax rate also as well, the tax rate, you have the option to create the various taxes that you use in your country, and in your area also as well. So let's say I want to create some tax for ourselves, let's say in Ghana. So here maybe we have a general or we have a standard task that we create here, right? So standard task for Ghana, for especially on the corporate world. So let's say the corporate world. So what you do is you set up your task name, and then you set up your the country, and then the region it belongs to, right? And this maybe so your division, and here you can have the task category, which task it is. Then you can select it mostly. So here is going to be basically the additive tax. So additive tax. So when you want more information, you can actually click on here and then read more about it. So additive tax actually tax that you add onto your taxes, right? Like you add onto your invoice. So when the tax is being calculated, you add it onto your invoice. Then we also have deductive tax, which are tax that you actually take out from your invoice if you want to. And so here also you have the various sections. Here if the product already include the task, then the system, what you will do is, if here is yes, what the system will do is, based upon the tax arrangement you have here, we will be able to calculate the tax that we will be able to calculate the tax that is due for the government from the item by using the formulas that you have here, right? So let's set this one to no. We will talk about it more in more greater details here. So here, let's say the task types that we have here. You can create a task type, right, and assign a specific chart of account to it, right? So let's say VAT, we want to create a VAT. So we select a VAT here. It's additive. What is the chart account type? So we can search for, it's related to sales tax. So we can create that. We can also create another one called which task again can I create? So let's say COVID-19 task, and then I can also assign to what kind of tax it is. Maybe say 1. So I can combine multiple taxes here, right? So here I can select the VAT, or I can select the COVID-19, and then maybe give it 1%, and then it should be calculated from after. Yes, it should be calculated from how do we call it, the taxable amount after the discount is being taken, right? And then the next one is going to be the VAT tax, which could be 12.5, and that one also should be taken from the taxable amount plus the previous levies that is being taken. So meaning that this will be calculated afterward. We calculate on top of the COVID-19 amount plus the, how do we call it, the taxable amount, right? So that is going to be the task here, and then we can go ahead. Oh, sorry. So let me quickly enter this. So standard task. Okay. So let me do this here, and then we will select this side. Okay, we leave this once as it is, then you create it. Yeah, so you get that task being created for you. So basically that is how you create your tasks, right? And then we can move on to the manufacturing side. So on the manufacturing side, also the same thing. If you have various manufacturers that you work with, you can create them and then assign them to your various items that you create as well. Then we have the warehouse session which you can also create a new warehouse. And so here you enter the warehouse. So let me just say fruit warehouse, right? And then you can select what it is, either distribution center, maybe distribution center. If you have a barcode, if you have a default task rate that you want to select, you can select attached to it, and maybe discount rate, where it belongs to. You can attach your location. You can select. These are all mandatory, and then you can, and then let me just put this. The next thing is your capacity. So depending on these are optional, but then if you want, you can fill them out, and all that. Your working hours also, you can fill them if you want to. Then we have the control options also here that you can select whether we should apply warehouse level tasks or warehouse level discount. So when you select any of this, what is actually going to happen is when we are creating invoices, estimates, or creating POS invoice, we are going to, if the warehouse have a specific task attached to it, we are going to prioritize that one and then apply that task to the invoice that we create, right? Yeah, so basically that is what it is. So yeah, then you can go ahead and create it here, and then you move on. Categories. So if you don't have, if all the category, the preset categories that we have, and you are creating an item and you don't have those categories, you can go ahead and then create them here. And when you create them, when you click on a specific category, you can see the subcategory section. Then you can create another, also the subcategories if you want to, also here. All right, so let's move on to the master items, right? So basically what the master items allow us to do is this. So let's say we want, with this specific item that we are creating, we will replicate it in multiple warehouses, right? And we don't want to re-enter the names again, right? So what we'll do basically is that we'll create it once and then use it anytime we are creating an item in different warehouses, right? So that is what basically it means. So here what we do is we ask for the more important informations, right? So let's say the item name. So let me just put pencil here, and then the base unit. You can set up your base unit also as well, and then you can set up maybe your categories also as well. So let me just, for just demo sake, select electronics and subcategory, just select tablet just for the demo sake. So the next section is you can also set up your dimensions and weight, and maybe you can set up your default price, default cost, the price, and also the reorder level. Now when you create it, which means that if you want to create an item and you go to create item, you can just select the pencil here, and all the other fields will be filled automatically. Those that will not be filled are actually the items, the sections that we did not request for, right? Let's say the warehouse, the brand, the color, and all that, right? Because those informations are used to create the SKU also as well for you. Yeah, so basically that is how the master item session work. Yes, so this brings us to the end of the inventory video. Thank you for watching.